Hi everyone, welcome to the Real Estate Oasis podcast. Today we are interviewing Ivan Anz from PhilanthroInvestors. My name is Felix Barreras from Life of Our Capital.
I'm Robbie Krager from PR Consultants.
Hey guys, I'm Zachary with Rico.
Okay, so Ivan, we have you on webcam here. We are very excited to have you here on the show, and we definitely want to hear a little bit about your story. I've definitely heard a little bit about it from when you started, back in Argentina, moved to the States, and now how you came to be in Puerto Rico. So welcome to the show, and again, excited to have you here.
Thank you. Thank you very much for having me in your show, guys. It's a pleasure, and thanks really for the space, not only on the creation of everything you do for Puerto Rico and so on, but inviting me to speak with you here today is a pleasure.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Very excited to have you. So just to know a little bit about your background, how PhilanthroInvestors came to be, where did it started, where did it all came to be for PhilanthroInvestors?
Okay, it's a very interesting story. I will say around 12 years ago, I was heavily involved in speculative investments.
Okay.
So because I arrived to a point where I managed to create different companies and have CEOs to run the day-to-day operations. So I was in the position of the founder or entrepreneur or visionary of the company, where all that I thought I needed to do at that time was, okay, here is the vision, here is the CEO, and run it. And, it was going well and so on. So I say, well, now I have this money, the money is coming, I have a percentage of the income that comes to me as a shareholder, etc. So now what I do with the money? Mm-hmm. And I was in my 20s, I have been working since I am 7 years old. At 7 years old, I created my first company, which was renting my Go-Kart to kids in my neighbor.
Wow,
nice. Smart guy.
And yes, and then I was buying candies for 10 cents and I'm selling them for 20 cents. And that's how I was financing my whole thing. So, nice but market. Anyway, so multiple companies. Then at the age of 14, I was not able to drive in the street because I am 14, but I can drive in the mountains. So I borrowed a Jeep from my dad, and then I drive in the mountain. And then I created a whole company on training adults on how to drive in the mountains.
Okay, so like off-roading capabilities, off-roading like training?
Exactly, off-roading training. And so multiple organizations on the marketing space, car business, multiple things. But then when I am, with all my companies and so on there, which were mainly Toyota dealerships in Argentina that I still have, and the real estate developments, which I completed and so on. So what I did that, I arrived to the point that I wanted to invest this money. And the point is that I felt that I was behind the computer just watching numbers, like looking numbers in the screen going up and down. Mm-hmm. And I started feeling depressed because I was feeling that I was just doing money for money. Mm-hmm. Like the life behind the enterprise, the life behind being with my staff, the life behind the clients, now it was kind of taken away from me because I am now in this position of being the founder mm-hmm. and not more the CEO. So in a short story, I say there is many entrepreneurs that come to this point where they create companies and now they have the income and they can invest and so on. So it doesn't make sense that I'm doing money for money. Mm-hmm. And I am feeling this way. So if you Google entrepreneur Ivan Anz, there is a whole article on this on the Entrepreneur Magazine about this story in more details. Okay. But if you like in one point, guys, I was when I was starting to feel like that, I was also developing a private neighborhood as one of my businesses. Okay. And I was feeling that I was selling lots for cash. Mm-hmm. And then there is one day, this guy in the back of my car, his name is Andres, and then he says, Ivan, I love this lot, but I cannot spend 50,000 on this. I don't have the money. And the kids in the back start saying, Daddy, 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 we want to live here. Daddy, 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 we want to live here. Imagine, like, I am there, I am the developer, and the kids in the back, the dad there, and the dad says, I come out of the car and I tell him, okay, can you give me half of the money? No, I don't. Okay, can you get the bank loan? And he says, no, I don't, because I miss a credit card payment.
Oh, wow.
Yes, It was just like that. And we're talking 12 years ago. And I was at the same time looking and asking God for an answer on this, being involved in the speculative investment world and seeing numbers, 200,000 become 300,000 and the next day 250 and the next day 350 and the next day 150 and the next day 50 and the next day 400. And I was not liking that. I was feeling like, I don't have purpose around this. What is this thing, So, the same way I was feeling with just passing a lot and getting the cash, and passing the lot and getting the cash. So I make it to the point that I say, okay, Andres, when you have the money, call me. That was all my solution. So I arrived, it was a Thursday night in July 2009, and I am taking a shower, and then this God revelation comes to me. And it was PhilanthroInvestors. And I listen to him and I say, what is this? Like, what are you trying to tell me, PhilanthroInvestors? From where this is coming,
So that word just appeared to you.
What?
That specific word, PhilanthroInvestors, kind of just came
The
to you.
the specific word. Like, PhilanthroInvestors, just the word.
Right.
And it was not in English PhilanthroInvestors. It was PhilanthroInversión, because at that time I didn't speak one word in English. Like 12 years ago, I knew hello, bye, and food, and bathroom, and that's it.
Yeah.
So back then you were
So it was
in Argentina.
Yes, I was living in Argentina in 2009.
Okay.
And then PhilanthroInversión, it came in Spanish. And then in the Friday morning, I called Andres. And the whole picture was like this. The whole picture was, in the future, like people, and you, Ivan, personally, you don't need to be thinking just in yourself for money. Like, there is a certain amount of money that, of course, you need to have all the things that you like to design the lifestyle you want to design. But then beyond that, he told me something which I then discovered as the natural laws of betterment, or the natural laws of improvement, like similar to the natural laws of gravity, right? Like we all know the natural laws of gravity. But the natural laws of improvement, which he was telling me, Ivan, if your wife is in a better condition, you are in a better condition. If your neighbor is in a better condition, you are in a better condition. If China is in a better condition, US is in a better condition. If Dominican Republic is in a better condition, Puerto Rico will be in a better condition. It takes a while to understand, right? But because it's not the same that the natural law of gravity, right? It's different. It takes time to observe it and to see it, right? But that was the mock-up. And then he communicated to me the $500 billion that are going right now to the gambling industry every single year. It will not be going that way in the next 20, 30, 40 years, because there is a conscious level of help for the humanity that is raising every single decade. So there is more non-profits, there is more organizations that are, trying to do good and so on. So all of this picture came to me. So I called the guy in the morning and I say, Andres, I had an idea. How much can you pay per month? And he says, why? Just tell me. And he says, maybe $250 a month. And I say, well, can you afford that? comfortably. You will not need to have your kids out of the school or lose something or eat less food. No, 250. And I say, well, congratulations, the lot is yours. And when I hear from the other side on the phone, guys, he's telling to the kids and the family jumping off. It was like I was not seeing it because it was the phone. But, the kids, the dad says, we own the lot, we have the lot, and the kids are jumping on the other side.
Wow, that's amazing. So you decided to kind of just do kind of like an owner financing type play.
Yes, but it was something that it didn't exist at all. It was like, okay, here it is. I can get $50,000 in the next client tomorrow from the lot, but then I am going to give this lot for $250 a month in the next 20 years financing. And that's it,
Yeah.
So for me it was this point of, okay, and that was what he was trying to communicate to me. It was not philanthropy per se. It had some philanthropy in it. Why? Well, because I'm giving away whatever I can do with the 50,000 cash right now and all the interest that I can make and whatever development I can continue to do and just giving away a lot of profits in the future because I'm financing this, in seller financing this way, right? So that's how PhilanthroInvestors started in 2009. And from that, my wife, then I did a bunch of help other families with my private neighborhood and so on. And then in one point, my wife tells me, are you guys there?
Yes, we're here.
You're frozen a little bit right now, but we're here. Ah, there you are.
Now you are.
You're back.
Good. So in one point, my wife tells me, Ivan, this is amazing. We should bring this to the US. And I say, what are you talking about? The US financing this like this? Because she says everything that the world, the US does, the world will copy, the good and the bad. We need to bring this to the US. And then I say, there is no way, Bella, because in the US, everybody owns their home. It's the American dream country. Like, in the movies, see the movies and see the TV. Everybody owns their home. Everybody owns their car. Everybody drives nice cars. Everybody goes on vacation. The kids in private schools and so on. Like, that was my picture, as an Argentinian with 20 plus years old. And so then I started going to the US, and in 2010, I go to my first real estate and business training in Scottsdale in Arizona, and then I go to a private seminar training there, and then I go to another one in San Diego, and I start learning about more, and I discovered that 51% of Americans do not have access to traditional mortgage. And when I arrived to that trainings, the cool thing about it was that I needed to hire a translator, like find the translator in the city and then have the translator bother all the audience because he's only translating to me.
Wow, that's commitment right there.
All the audience there is like, shh, because these people is, someone is translating. So anyhow, I discovered that 51% of Americans do not qualify for a traditional mortgage. I discovered that 50,000 foreclosures are happening every single year every single month in the US at that time. And then I just blown away with the information. So I started looking for ways on how to do the housing philanthropy investing that I started in Argentina, but in the US. And in 2012, I start finding that I can buy these foreclosures, REOs, and all of that. And then in 2014, I moved to the US, and I say, well, I moved definitely to the US, to Florida. And I say, well, what I need to do now is two things. I need to find the CEO that speaks English and understand the US. So I go to LinkedIn, and I start looking for CEOs. And I find the guy, and I call him, and he falls in love with the vision. And he accepts the CEO position to start my company, Equity and Help, in Florida, which has now 7 years, and it has a portfolio of $47 million of these houses across 32 states. Wow. And it's producing approximately 10.5% return for the housing PhilanthroInvestors that are located in 16 countries of the world and supporting families across the US. So basically that's basically the story. I put the whole system together, and if you allow me to just share a short video, maybe here from my screen, I can share the whole system, how it works, or some results that we are generating, or whatever you want.
Would you be interested in helping families while making a cash flow of 8 to 12%? Here's how. In 1940, the average cost to own a home in America was about $3,000. That's $30,000 in today's dollars. And from the 1940s to the 1970s, as mortgage prices rose, so did wages, growing 90% in those years. But since the 1970s, average wages have risen just 12%, meaning that the cost of living has been rising faster than income for 40 years. As a result, homeownership rates have decreased. Today, the majority of Americans will never own their own home. What was once middle class is now the working poor, paying their bills on time, but barely making ends meet and sacrificing other needs such as medical care and a better education just to pay exorbitant rental prices. For nearly half of Americans, almost half of their income goes to rent. But there are others in the United States and other countries with the means to invest. Many would like to see their investments make a difference while making them significant cash flow. With the PhilanthroInvestor program, it's possible. As a unique Philanthro investment system, we use industry secrets to allow investors to buy a large amount of properties in a way that also secures and protects investors' assets. Here's how it works. 1. We select, research, and purchase the best foreclosed homes across the U.S. 2. You buy a minimum of 3 of these homes for 45% below after repair value, about $120,000, and pay us $15 a month to manage these vacant properties. 3. At our own expense, we do the minimum basic repairs and put the home on the market. 4. We then find and qualify families who want to buy the homes from you on owner financing for more than you bought it for. These families will improve the homes themselves while paying tax and insurance and all maintenance costs. 5. We manage the relationship with the family for you for an additional $45 per month. 6. Families pay a $1,000 to $2,000 down payment to you, and you finance them the balance with a 12% interest rate for an average of 20 years. This is how you as an investor receive an 8 to 12% return on your investment. 7. You recover your investment in 5 to 6 years while still owning your asset. This asset will give you a reliable double-digit return, and you get to enjoy your life free of real estate headaches. One of the many advantages of our system is that through the use of these industry secrets, you have anonymity and a buffer between you as the investor and the home buyers. This is how your investment will change communities all across the country. You help children of homeowners statistically perform better in school and have lower drug use and crime rates. You help communities. Homeowners invest more in their local community, volunteer more, and report a greater sense of self-control and self-worth. You make a difference, and you make money while doing it. Are you looking to make a difference while also gaining reliable cash flow, financial freedom, retirement income, and something you can leave to future generations? Speak to a PhilanthroInvestor consultant today. It's that easy to improve your life while improving the lives of children, families, and communities with Equity and Help, Inc.
Okay.
Awesome.
Very good, Ivan.
That's a great vision.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so that's basically the business. So, and the cool thing about it on the how the philanthropic part is in the model. in this model itself is because the PhilanthroInvestor buys the homes for $45K, right? For $45,000. But these homes have an ARV of $100,000 in average across the US. Mm-hmm. And instead of selling the house to the family, instead of the PhilanthroInvestor coming and putting and being a fixer and flipper and putting $10,000 in the home and selling it for $100,000 to the family through the traditional route, the PhilanthroInvestor is saying, hey, I'm going to sell it to you for $55,000, and you're going to have $45,000 of equity from day number one. So the family walks into the home with $45,000 of equity. They just need to put some sweat equity and do some some basic things and improvement of the home, but they have proud of ownership because they are improving the home themselves. Mm-hmm. And what that does, it puts the PhilanthroInvestor in a better position, and the family is paying half of what it costs to rent the same home. So if the rent of the home is $1,200, for $550, including the 12% interest rate and everything, the family is living in the house. Mm-hmm. And then the family we will report, there is cool things about it. So for example, if the family cannot make the payment because they have a family situation, they have a baby, or they lose their job, or they have a medical situation, the PhilanthroInvestor can say, hey, I am going to give you the 3 late payments as do philanthropy with it. Or I am going to, pass these 3 late payments to the end of the loan. Or I am going to, because you've been so good, I am going to gift you the Christmas payment. We have many PhilanthroInvestors that are giving the Christmas payments, like December payment, to all these families so they can build a tree in their home and have really Christmas time, mm-hmm. and so on. So that's basically the story. And then what we have, which is really cool, is that there is around 600 families across 32 states right now. And some percentage of the families that cannot make the payments, or they have situations, so on. Let's say the PhilanthroInvestor cannot support to, give away the payments or send them to the end of the loan or increase $10 per month the monthly payment or whatever. He cannot do it because he needs the cash. So we have a philanthropic fund that comes in, gives the money to the PhilanthroInvestor for the 3 late payments, and finance to the families at 0% interest rate for 15 months.
Wow. Wow. That's very, very cool.
Yes. Yeah. So that's basically the program itself, guys. And that's basically the PhilanthroInvestor program. And the other thing that I would like to show you is a real story from a PhilanthroInvestor, which is 2 minutes, and a real story from a family, which is another 2 minutes. So you can see what our people is experiencing in general. You see what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
Sounds wonderful.
We've been here for
almost
3 years.
3 years.
3 years?
Yeah. 3 years.
3 years. And it's home. It feels like home. This is home. And we still, the most fun part is we still got stuff with things that we want to do. Be more creative. Turn this into that, move this around, We live all around. South Boston, Virginia, and then Philly. It feels good to be able to call your house a home. You know what I mean? And it's a difference. It's a very big difference to be able to paint a wall green if you like, or paint a wall brown or tan or whatever, which I have a lot of colors going on. So I work for families, taking care of their loved ones. And Harry is building maintenance. He's been with his company for 26, 26 years. So that comes in handy with this house too, his building maintenance knowledge. I've heard of in-house financing. You can see it on the internet when you go searching for like different things, but I've never heard of a program like this. That's the difference between trying to find a landlord to work with you, so you can have a place to stay versus a whole company.
Right.
You know what I mean? That specializes in helping home people who most likely wouldn't be able to get a traditional mortgage. So you know what I mean? And to help them actually be homeowners. But yeah, it was a fun experience. The game room came from the 17-year-old. I tried to be colorful. We called one room the gold room, one room the red room. So that came from my daughter. So, and then we kind of got carried away with it. Thank you so much.
I really like that, Ivan. So really quick, I was watching this documentary where they were talking about IKEA, and they were talking about how he conceptualized this idea of, creating this piece of furniture and being able to that anyone could do it. Made it so easy that, anyone could have this pride of like creating this cool piece of furniture, and he found a way to use that as a business model for IKEA. And I feel like you're doing the same thing with the pride of ownership and creating this awesome, do-it-yourself kind of kit, so anyone could plug right in and kind of have access to this thing that you're right, is getting more and more rare, and to have access, for everyone. There should be an opportunity for everyone to have a home, and I think steps like what you're doing with this business, is a win-win for everyone, and it's a beautiful thing, man. I really want to, support these types of activities, because I think they're good for us, they're good for you, they're good for the community as a whole. Have you been able to do anything in Puerto Rico specifically? Have you been able to buy anything and do these here yet?
Not yet, because this year for me has been learning the island, learning the rules, learning the laws, getting involved in the real estate market here and so on. But I have my vision that in 2022, we are looking for an entrepreneur in Puerto Rico that would like to take the business model, the franchise of Equity and Help, and then help the island, because the laws are different and so on. But we have all the technology, the methodology, the systems, the support, the softwares, and so on. So that's how Equity and Help will grow in the future, is through the franchise model across the globe. Because in my book that I am launching next year, which is called the Housing Philanthroinvesting, Growing Your Capital While Helping Families Own Their Homes, it has the knowledge needed for any entrepreneur in the world to do the same model for anywhere in the world. I designed the system so it can help families all over the world. That's the idea.
I love
Very
it.
good.
That's awesome.
What level
Yes.
of completion does the house need to be before you can turn it over to the homeowner? So I see that they're doing work. You could see in the video you just shared, they upgraded the bathrooms and stuff, but do they need basic power and water on, and then they can go from there, or what? How distressed can the house be, or to what level do you renovate before you pass it along?
Okay, so we do the basic repairs to the point that yes, we want water to be ideally to be available, and electricity on, water on, and the basic stuff that we call it sellable status. So sellable status means that, okay, the family can come. If they want to move in, they can move in, but if the home is not in a nice, it doesn't have the walls paint, it doesn't have, maybe there is some plumbing issues that can be there that they need to do, things like that. But so that's basically
So they have all
the status.
They have all the basic needs to move in and live in it, but it's just not nice. Like they have to put it. Yeah, they have to do the cosmetics on it.
Yeah, exactly as you see in the home that Miss Williams was doing, is that she was, with this and that, and that creates a proud of ownership, isn't it? Because a tenant
for themselves, yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
They make it their own.
I mean, I would rather
Exactly.
buy a home that's like that and put my own touches rather than buy something that's already renovated. So
Yes, and that's one of the chapters of my book is called Proud of Ownership as an Asset, because that proud of ownership, you don't have it with tenants. When you are a landlord, you have all these other things that are happening because you don't have the proud of ownership as an asset. And really, when you compare cash flows, one side to another side, being a philanthro lender is much better than being a landlord. That's what I find out for myself, observing 7 years of the operation of this company. And this company is 3 years in a row, Inc.500. We made it in the position number 83 of the fastest growing companies in the US, and the position number three of the fastest real estate companies growing in the US.
Amazing.
Wow.
So,
incredible.
and we made it to position number 1 in the entire state of Florida.
Wow.
So I think that the reason is because the level of purpose that the company has and the team that is not working money for money, they got this culture. They are not putting hours for money. They are living this purpose. From the CEO down to the person that's going in the state to do some repairs in the home, they see, this vision. We have around 240 independent contractors that are already qualified and certified by Equity and Help in 32 states. So we have all this crew around the country, and we have, of course, a team in the headquarters that manage these contractors because, we need them all the time, right? So that's also a very interesting point, right? Even if a family needs something, we have something to help them, and so on. And there is sometimes we have PhilanthroInvestors that the family comes and say, hey, I found this huge problem that it will cost me $5,000. I don't have that money. Okay, here we call the PhilanthroInvestor, and the PhilanthroInvestor says, well, I am going to finance you this. We are going to add $4,000 or $5,000 to the price of the house, and you will pay over the next 20 years. So it's a teamwork between the family, the PhilanthroInvestor, and Equity and Help that is creating something that we call the happy home. And the happy home is a home that after 61 points on a checklist are complied with, we certify the house as a happy home completion, and then the PhilanthroInvestor comes and can say, hey, here it is, 1-2 monthly payments as a reward because you completed the happy home. And all this process is patent, in the US and so on, but it's a very unique model.
Can I ask, in the last 7 years, how many homes have you completed, or how many have you done in the 32 states that you're in?
Okay, so I started the first year in 2014 with 3 homes. I then go in 2015 and I went to 10 homes. And I was testing the model. And in 2016, I went to 50 homes. And in 2017, I went to 100 homes. And in 2018, I went to 250 homes. And in 2019, I went to 400 homes. In 2020, I went to 500 homes, and we are now almost over the 600 homes.
Wow. For in 1 year, or you're okay. Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah, so we're doing right now an average of 5 to 10 homes per week.
An average of 5 to 10 homes a week. Congratulations.
That's awesome.
And what an amazing story. And I can tell just by looking at the smile on your face, you like this much more than just working for a paycheck or money to money, you call it. Even when you were telling us your first story about the guy with the kids in the car, you could see that the joy was on your face when God gave you this idea and you were able to put this together. Just gave you a lot of joy, I would imagine.
Purpose.
Exactly. Yeah.
Purpose, and that's why one of our slogans is invest with the purpose.
Yeah.
Because there is no crypto angel launching of the new phenomenal coin that will go 20, 50, or 100x that will pay this feeling of investing with the purpose. It is not. There is no comparison because this is giving me is growing my spiritual bank account.
Yes, of course. That's awesome.
That.
Yep.
Yeah.
You see.
That's
So that's basically, and I would like to share with you so you see something that is very unique, which I think when I was doing research on investment, I was listening to passive income equals financial freedom. Passive income equals financial freedom. And then in my mind, something didn't click for me. because when I search for the word, like for me, it was not like I am sitting laying down in the beach and then I am receiving a check every month. That's not freedom. That's boring. So for me it was okay. Like then if passive income equals financial freedom, I need to research what freedom means. So I researched what freedom means, and freedom is connected with purpose, is connected with control, is connected with knowledge, is connected with being alert of your environment, is connected with making the decisions, is connected with being engaged, is connected with receiving fulfillment, not just being laying around in the beach. Yeah. So when I say that, oh my gosh, what I am doing with Equity and Health for my philanthropy investors is I am creating true financial freedom for them, because they have cash flow, they have capital growth, like around 20-25% of capital growth in the first year. They have cash flow, 10% plus cap rate. They have the real estate title, which is, a good backup of the supporting the investment and so on. But the most important is they become the CEO of their own portfolio. They choose the houses. They then decide if they want to take the family out or not, or help the family or not, what they want to do. Mm-hmm. They have knowledge. They receive a report every month with all the key knowledge of their portfolio. They meet with one of their philanthropy investor consultant to actually make the decisions for the next month for 15-20 minutes. Mm-hmm. They are involved, they are engaged, they are receiving the experience of being a philanthropy investor. And so they have knowledge, control, fulfillment, engagement, all of this. So I created this concept of true financial freedom. And I want you to see it from one of my philanthropy investors, his own personal experience, if you allow me for 2 minutes.
Sure, absolutely.
My name is Steve Schlussel. I'm a professional musician. With the amount of risk that's involved, you're not going to find anything with a better rate of return, I don't think. And I've looked around. The idea that I could have this kind of solid investment with this kind of rate of return and do something good was kind of irresistible. I think the people here, they know what they're doing, and it's a good organization. The organizational structure is sound. I like that kind of enthusiasm, and I like that kind of vision, for something to really create something that nobody's ever done before. I like being involved with something like that. I think that's fun. The people here are very responsive. I can call and get an answer back, and I actually get my question answered. I don't get run around the block. You got your eyes open going in. They give you the full picture of what it is and what it isn't, and you walk into it with the statistics in your hand saying, well, this is the best case scenario, this is the worst case scenario, this is where it mostly winds up. And it's been very consistent for me. I have a couple other friends who also have investments here. It's been very consistent for them. And I think we're all happy with it. I mean, I wanted to be in a situation where I could retire. And that's pretty much what I've done. I moved from California to Nashville, to live my dream. It's really funny for me because 40 years ago, I moved to Hollywood to pursue my dream, and it took me in a lot of different directions. But that dream's still there from 40 years ago, and now I'm able, really because of Equity and Help, I'm able now to continue to pursue that dream in Nashville, which is just a really super cool thing.
Wow, that's really amazing. I mean, it's like a trifecta of win-win-win. Obviously this is helping you out. This is helping the investor out. This is helping the home, right? And the community. I mean, it's amazing how you put so much planning into this, and it seems like it's working out wonderfully for everyone involved. It's a beautiful thing.
It's awesome. It really spins the narrative on the head of the investors or the entrepreneur coming in to take advantage of, and really that's clearly not what's going on here. And very proud of you. Great job. It's also a needed business model here on the island. We lack for. We lack in the banking system the ease of money that in the States they may have. So your business model would work so perfectly here. Mm-hmm. I hope that we can help to bring it to fruition, maybe with a partnership with Rio Rico or PR consultants. We would love to be a part of that and to help you bring that here.
Of course. We should we can do a lunch, guys, and coordinate. But it's important because we even can have PhilanthroInvestors from all over the world supporting families in Puerto Rico because we have the PhilanthroInvestors already, and there is the necessity here that these families need help, and we can help them, and so. Thanks for the offering, and I am going to take it and follow up, guys.
How do you find the families that ultimately move into the houses and become homeowners?
Well, we have a whole marketing department and technology. Right now we are receiving, so just you understand, our only problem for expansion is more PhilanthroInvestors. It's more capital to help the families because we are receiving approximately between 200 and 500 families a week that are interested in our program. We have now a huge fund in Utah that is going to do 500 homes at once. So that will be like it will take us to the next level, right? Because it will be just like right now we have the 600 homes are owned by approximately between 80 and 100 PhilanthroInvestors. So that means that each PhilanthroInvestor owns an average of 8 homes, right? But so each PhilanthroInvestor is supporting 8 families. But then if we have a fund that comes and say, okay, here's 20 million, 500 families, it's much more easy, because we just roll with the system and we just grow much more steady and so on. So the average investors invest, I would say 300,000. That's the average PhilanthroInvestor to buy 6 to 8 homes, right? But so that's something cool that will help us to expand to the next level and to go for the 4th year in a row into the Inc.500. Yeah.
That's great.
That's awesome.
Excellent. Well, thanks. I really appreciate the time and everything. I think we got a good grasp of what you're doing and how we can kind of collaborate and help and do something in the future. Was there anything else we wanted to plug in or talk about really quick?
Well, that in 2020 I was in the shower.
Another shower story. I love it. Go on. Ivan in the shower.
I have two shower stories in 2020. The first one in the beginning of 2020, I was in the shower and I realized that the PhilanthroInvestors was born not just to help housing and improve the housing situation, but then I realized that 6,000 kids are dying from water-related diseases every single day, that across the planet, that 80% of water is released untreated in the planet, that 8% of the population, only 8% of the population lives in good air quality conditions, that there is 160 million people suffering from natural disasters every single year, that there is 1 billion of illiterate people in the world, that there is 8 million tons of littering going to the oceans every single year, not 8 million, like 8 million tons of littering, and there is the animal population is decreasing approximately at the speed of, in the last 50 years, 70% decrease of the animal population. And then I look at the planet and God tells me, Ivan, do you see these entrepreneurs? There is all these entrepreneurs that even that we have this planet condition, they are trying to take us to Mars. And then I speak with him and I say, what do you mean? Yes, you guys want to go, you want to go to you need to fix this planet before going to mess up another planet.
Right.
That's right.
And so I expanded the PhilanthroInvestor brand, and now we have a water philanthropy investing program and an environment philanthropy investing program. Just to give a short story, in water we have a company that's going to NASDAQ and is helping the decentralized water, the same way that solar decentralized energy and the same way that crypto blockchain decentralized finances. It's helping decentralize water in the point of use all over the world with a very unique technology. It's called Origin Clear, the company. And then we have Environment PhilanthroInvestor. The company is based in Texas, Origin Clear. And then we have another company that is run by my amazing CEO. His name is Eric. He's based in Dubai, the company. And the reason it's based in Dubai is because Dubai is one of the most clean cities in the world and understandable about environment very well. So Zloop is based in Dubai, and it has a unique technology to solve the issue of the 8 million tons of littering going to the ocean. So we call it environment philanthropy investing. But in that way, the philanthropy investors are investing in basically in the company, in a PPM, in a private placement memorandum, starting, supporting the company from scratch in the beginning and helping the company grow and so on. So it's a little different. It's only for accredited investors. But yeah, so that was my other revelation in 2020. And then that was beginning of 2020. And then at the end of 2020, I was taking another shower. And it's for real. It's not, I don't know. I have these ideas in the shower. I don't know.
I get it. Yeah. It's like, the thoughts come while you're showering.
Yes. And then God tells me, Ivan, with all these things that you are doing good for the world, you need to be directing the money towards the humanity and not towards the government. So you need to find a way to set up everything there is a way. And I was looking, I started going to the internet. He was trying to say, Ivan, all the money that you pay in taxes and goes to the government, you need to find a way to send it to the humanity. And I started looking, and I discovered, Uruguay, 0% tax, and Dubai, 0% tax, and Portugal. And I was looking, and I was showing to my wife, right? And then one day, my father-in-law comes to me that week at the end of 2020 and says, Ivan, you know what? I think that I want to retire in the Caribbean. And I discovered that there is friends that they moved to Puerto Rico, and they really want to, they live there, and I was a kid when they were my friends, and they live there, and I want to move to Puerto Rico. And I say, Puerto Rico? Why are you going to move from Argentina to Puerto Rico? I said. And he says, well, they speak Spanish and so on, and everything is there. Well, I can visit you 1 month, a year from Florida, 2 months. I cannot be living there because I have a green card. So I need to live in the US.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So that was my first reaction, right?
Of course.
And so after that, one of my attorneys for my counsel, he calls me at the end of 2020, and he says, Ivan, I am moving my office from Washington to Puerto Rico. And I say, what? Like, from Washington to Puerto Rico? And I say, my father-in-law 3 weeks ago just told me that he wants to move to Puerto Rico. And you're telling me, why? Well, because there is the most amazing worldwide tax incentive program is in Puerto Rico. And I say, you are a U.S. citizen. Well, that's a U.S. territory. Well, I have a green card. Can I live there? Of course, he says.
That's awesome.
And so that's the Puerto Rico story. And then we came here, and then we fall in love with the island. We fall in love with the people, with the culture. Even that if there is not any tax incentive, I will not move out of this island. It's just phenomenal and amazing, and the people, the culture, and the food is just amazing food, and the energy, and having the longest Christmas in the world, and how Christmas starts at the end of October and finishing at the end of January, So it's just absolutely amazing. People is so nice, sweet, and and they really need help. So I really applaud the U.S. government and Puerto Rico government for creating this and bringing the entrepreneurs, the high net worth individuals to support the people here. And I'm just so happy here. And then one day I wanted to learn about real estate, and I researched and I find Rio Rico, and here we are.
Damn.
Well, wow. That's great.
That's awesome. I love those stories, the shower stories, and how you just kind of go with your intuition and everything. And you had Puerto Rico come back to back over and over again. in a period of time, there's obviously a meaning in that, you know, and just to kind of ride that and go with it.
Yes. I call them, you know, you can call them intuitions, God callings, or whatever you want, but just listening to your heart and just following it, right? And that's when, you know, when you know, for example, that your your shirt is color orange, right? When you know, you don't need to think, right? When you know something, you don't need to think. So when you have this knowledge that comes like as a revelation or calling, you just don't need to think. You need to act, because that's where life goes.
There's so much wisdom in that. I love that. Seriously, that's beautiful.
Thank you, amigo. Thank you very much.
Perfect. Well, I think that about wraps it up. Appreciate the time here, Ivan. Thank you, everyone. I think that's about it. Was there anything else we wanted to end with, Ivan?
No, that everyone that is listening, I invite you to explore the opportunity to awaken your philanthropy investor within, that is sleeping inside you, that is much more fulfilling than just money for money, and then explore the possibility of helping Puerto Rico as an entrepreneur, as an investor, because there is a lot of help needed, much more than in the US. So I invite you to come here, and if you come here, we can go and maybe create an Argentinian barbecue.
All right.
I'd love that.
Sounds good.
That's beautiful. Okay, so we'll provide all the links in the below the video.
Yep.
And I think that wraps it up.
Yeah.
Like and subscribe. Real Estate Oasis.
So yeah, guys, thank you very much for joining, and we hope to see you soon. Take care. Bye.
Thank you, Ivan.
Thanks again, Ivan.
Thanks, Ivan.
Thank you, guys. Thank you very much.